All right, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has media in her city furious, and for good reason. Is being accused of trying to cover up soaring crime. So the mayor, she's in a very tight re-election race, standing by the decision to block the public from being able to monitor police scanners by moving the communications to encrypted channels. Multiple media outlets calling out the Democratic mayor and accusing her of pushing censorship in the purest form and adding, quote, this: the mayor's decision to restrict our access to scanner channels will harm our ability to keep you, our readers, viewers, and listeners safe and informed, and render it more difficult to hold our government and its personnel accountable. But Lightfoot says it will make police safer.
It's about officer safety. If it's unencrypted and there's access, there's no way to control criminals who are going to also get access, listen in, and adjust their criminal behavior in response to the information that's being communicated.
So this wasn't possible with previous technology, Katie, and it reminds me of when the FAA tried to prevent drones from being able to cover all the Haitian migrants that had gathered under the bridge in Texas, and then we called them out on it, and they had to back down because there was clearly a First Amendment violation. What do you think will happen here?
Well, the bigger picture is that if you really want to protect police officers, Lori Lightfoot would put more pressure on the prosecutors to keep the revolving door of criminals off the streets. These cops are encountering the same people over and over again in the same neighborhoods, committing the same crimes, and yet they're still being let out of jail. In terms of the police scanner traffic, that's not just used by media. It's actually used by a lot of people in these neighborhoods who listen in so that when there is a shooting or there is a high-speed chase, they know where it is and they can protect themselves and their families not to go into those areas, especially for the people who live there and deal with this all the time. So I do think it's about her trying to control the narrative ahead of her re-election. She doesn't want people knowing what's really going on, and people can go right to the source and hear how out of control things are in Chicago under her leadership, which she thinks has been just fine.
Greg, what do you think of her trying to do this? Do you think it really is about police safety?
No, because like Katie said, this isn't the priority if you care about police safety. Although I kind of understand it because, like, scanner, this is why I never call 911. I just don't want to end up on any scanner, you know, because it'll be on TMZ and it'll be something embarrassing. I fell in the bathtub and then I have to go to the ER and God knows, you know, what happens there never stays there, as you know. You know, it's one of those things where, like, crime reporting is now considered scab journalism, right? You're crossing the picket line to report on a story that other journalists strike against. And she's always reflected this, that when you talk about crime, it's like, I don't want you to talk about it. It's like you're betraying her if you do. And then meanwhile, if you talk to anybody in the media, generally 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they would say every crime story is a local story. Do you remember that? There was a person here that used to say that, like, oh, there was a killing in D.C. That's a local story. It's a local story. Well, all those local stories added up to one national story, a raging crime epidemic. And I think that it's uncomfortable for people like Lightfoot and others to approach this topic because of their culpability in never covering it, never addressing it, and also supporting such progressive follies as no cash bail and reduced sentencing, which you can, you know, just completely directly link to what we're seeing right now. The journalistic scandal to me is bigger than the political scandal because it's not a victimless crime, especially when they devote, you know, thousands of inches to violent far-right parents. And, like, there's people just dying everywhere. Finally, the Washington Post is actually doing exposés on murder, which is like, what, now it's okay?
Right.
What made it different?
The no cash bail, that's actually going to be a statewide policy in Illinois starting January 1st because the governor signed that little ditty into law.
So Illinois looked at what happened in the rest of the country and said, we want to go down that road?
Statewide.
Yeah, way to go, Illinois. I spoke to a former cop, and he said back in the day, there used to be a better relationship between the police departments and the local media. So with local media, sometimes they'd honor police requests to hold back information that would be able to help law enforcement. Or sometimes they would want the local people to get that out there and warn the public. And he said now it's changed. A lot of times police will come up onto the scene and they'll try to film cops, catch them in a bad moment and make them look bad and blow up some sort of racial scandal. and they don't cooperate like they used to. And now it's very sensational, and then they're trying to sell a product. It's what we do too. We want to get ratings. We want to get to the scene first, and that's really important. But
Not me, Jesse.
No, I know, Greg. I know. You'd rather be right than first.
Yes.
You say that all the time, except you're neither either. And so there's a little more nuance to the story, and you know me, I'm Mr. Nuance.
Definitely.
So I think there's a gray area.
Very good.
Thank you.
Jessica, what do you think?
I think there are definitely gray areas to this. And it seems like, so there are other cities that have done this, like Denver does it and Louisville does it. But the difference is, and one of the Chicago aldermen brought this up, that they don't run on a delay system. So you could have the encrypted software or whatever it is to be able to read this, and regular people could get those. So maybe there could be neighborhood initiatives to make sure that in particularly bad neighborhoods that a project has a system, right, where they could listen into what's going on, because there was this crazy case. There were 40 shots went off and nobody knew what was going on in the area, and they would have typically relied on these radio transmissions, and now they can't. So it seems like there's a way to find a bit of a happy medium here. If you really do think it will protect police officers, but you need to also protect the public interest and the media being part of this. And I know that sometimes they exploit the situation to make sure that they can, be first with little nuance. You can get there. But I don't think a city like Denver would be doing this if it was something that was all that terrible.
We'll see. I'm sure there will be some legal challenges, and we'll follow those and see where it goes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.